Hello, everybody, and it's a Tuesday night, so it must be Band of Brothers night for a great speaker ahead of us. And remember, nothing is bigger than life. But before we start, I'm going to make some announcements. So the first announcement is about the Spring DE, April 16th to the 19th. Remember that the room block is good all the way up to March 26th, but you don't want to wait to March 26th. You want to do it now. TNT. Today, not tomorrow. And then there's an exciting thing happening on Life. They're going to have a DE intensive with all great speakers that we love Saturday, March 7th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's going to be a whirlwind. If it was close to me, I'd be there. And our next announcements are the rest of our meetings for the year. We've got summer 2026, July 16th to the 19th, Atlanta Marriott Perimeter. And then fall, October 22nd to the 25th, Atlanta Marriott Perimeter Center. Might as well make all your reservations TNT. And we have the Connect groups. I don't hear much about them, but I hope everybody's working it because it's really nice to have our ties when we're not in the room at DE. I love all of you guys. Okay, so our speaker is Dr. Joe, and he practices in Iowa. And he just told me that last September 2025, he just had his 50th year anniversary of graduating from Palmer Chiropractic College. Wow. He's been doing this a long time, which means he's got a lot of heart and a lot of love for this profession. And he's going to have a daughter that's in chiropractic school, and she's going to come join him in April at the DE, and a son who's in college, his future is going to be a chiropractor. So he has built a legacy. So Dr. Joe, with your heart, take it away.
All right. Thank you for the introduction. That was very pleasant. And it does remind me of the things of all these years that I've been a chiropractor. And like she said, in September, I went to Palmer for homecoming and got a little pin that said I'd been graduated 50 years ago. So I have been doing chiropractic quite a while. Tonight, I want to talk about chiropractic and chiropractic only. I really enjoy, and we all do, chiropractors talking to chiropractors about chiropractic. It's the very best. And that's what we're going to do tonight. I have an office. I practice straight chiropractic. I do consultations, examinations, a couple of orthopedic tests. I take full spine digital x-rays. I run the nervoscope and I adjust. I make listings and find subluxations and I adjust them. And that's what I've been doing for 50 years. I haven't changed a thing, and chiropractic hasn't changed. The only variable is me. I've changed the way I practice and the way I think about it, and have grown into a better chiropractor than when I started. And that's all what we want. We all want that. So tonight I thought the best thing to do is tell all of you a couple things that I've always done, and maybe you'd like to do the same thing. I would highly recommend it. I like these books, and I've said this before, The Glory of Going On. You should have this book. If you don't, you need to get it and you need to read it. There's material in there that'll just blow your mind about chiropractic. Life Without Fear. That's a fabulous book by Dr. Fred Bars, just up the road here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. This is one of my favorites, Palmer's Law of Life. These are little books. They're not very thick, and they're just full of information. Here's one that'll surprise you. This is still available. The Chiropractic Story by Marcus Bach. Out of the healing's 5,000 years of history, a breakthrough in humanity's will to be well. That's a great book. You can still find this book. And I'm not doing an advertisement, but I'm going to tell you what. This is a great book. This is in my waiting room. I give this to new patients, and I hand this out, and I buy them by the case. It's fabulous. The public needs to know what we stand for. So now that I got that out of the way, I want to talk about something that happened about 50 years ago when I was 19 years old, and I was soon to be 20, and I'm sitting in this auditorium in Chiropractic College. There were 404 people in the room. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know a soul. We were setting in alphabetical order. And this guy walks out on stage and he says, my name is Dr. Geelan Price. I am the head of philosophy at Palmer College of Chiropractic. We are glad you are here. Welcome to Palmer College of Chiropractic. Everything you hear from this point forward, you already know. You just haven't thought about it. We are now going to start to think about it. Think about that sentence. I haven't forgotten about that yet, and I'm still thinking about it. 50 years ago, think about that. Everything you hear from this point forward, you already know. You just haven't thought about it. We are now going to start to think about it. What other college opens up that way? None. What other educational system has that line as an introduction to being there? None. Just ours. And that is the line of demarcation between the chiropractic education and everything else. It's different. It's meant to be different because it is different. Those words, was there any weakness in those words? Was there anything that needed to be debated? No. Any question about what was the meaning of those words? Everything you hear from this point forward, you already know. You just haven't thought about it. We are now going to start to think about it. Those are factual words without issue. All you have to do is accept it. And we have, all of us. So when I think about that education, and I'd been to college before, but here it is. Now you're at Palmer. You're in a chiropractic setting, no matter where it is. I don't care if you're at Acme Chiropractic College. You're in a chiropractic college. And because of that, you get a degree. You get a diploma. And you get that degree and you get that diploma. And if you go to University of Southern California, USC, and you get a degree as a CPA, you go to the University of Toronto and you get a degree as an engineer. You go to Ohio State and you did a degree in computer science. From that point on, you work with that degree. You get a chiropractic degree, and from that point on, you work with that degree. The only difference is we work for our degree. There's a fire lit in us in a chiropractic college that's different than all the other degrees handed out. We not only work with our degree, we work for it. We are on a mission. We've got a purpose. We've been commissioned to do something that no other group of human beings have been commissioned to do. And it's called chiropractic. And the reason I say that is because sometimes we forget the variables in life. Well, we're the variable. Chiropractic is not the variable. It's a principle. And it gets a hold of us, and we have to be reminded by the words we use of just how important this profession is and just how important we are to the profession. Just how important our attitude, our thoughts, our ambition, our application is to this profession. Let me give you a good example. I love this example. You know, Whitney Houston never wrote a song. Neither did Frank Sinatra or Elvis Presley or Led Zeppelin. None of them ever wrote a song. But man, could they perform. They made it real. None of us wrote any of the green books. But we are here to perform them. We're here to make it real. Without the performance, it doesn't work so good. In fact, it's almost pointless. It's the performance that sets it free. And that's what we have to remind ourselves. We have to perform as chiropractors. Sometimes we get a little weak. Sometimes after years of practice, you get a little questionable. And you have to remind yourself that's the variable. That's the human aspect of working with the divine principle. Who gets weak? We do. Does the principle get weak? Never. Never has, never will. So, personally and as a group, we have to get together at times and rebuild our strength for this mission, for this purpose. BJ and Dr. Sid used to say this, and I love this. He would say, there were steps at the school that said, success consists in the climb. Those were BJ's words. Where were those steps? Where were those steps? They were in BJ's house. That was for him. Every night when he went home, he saw that. Every morning when he came out, he stepped on those steps. Success consists in the climb. I like what Dr. Sid used to say. Do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, whether you like it or not. That last phrase is a kicker. Whether you like it or not, just do it. You know, when I talked about sometimes we get a little weak and we feel like we're alone, you know, BJ had an answer for that himself. He used one word, we. We meant BJ and Innate. That was his way. We think we got an answer to your problems. We think your problems are in your spine. We, Innate, and the chiropractor. He always talked like him and Innate were partners, and we are. So I got a trick question for everybody when we're talking about Innate, and then we're going to move on. Here's the trick question. Is that what you think, or is that what you know? Do you hear that? You're in a pinch. The question is that what you think, or is that what you know? Innate doesn't care what you think. Innate's only interested in what you know. And you know chiropractic. And don't forget that. Innate is only concerned about your knowledge of chiropractic. The rest will come along. Now, I have to tell you a little story, and you may think it's out of place, but I don't think it's out of place. In 1919, up here in Stillwater, Minnesota, there's a man and wife that developed a product. It was a toaster. And that's the first time that they had this toaster that actually toasted bread properly. You could put two pieces of bread in there and they'd come out differently. They went in one way and they came out another way. They were toasted. They felt different. They looked different. They tasted different. And 11 years after they made the toaster, everybody wanted one. It was just different. So the bread went in one way and it came out a different way. And it worked. See? Now, we have to talk about the commission that we have. It works. Chiropractic works. Ours is a purpose. Ours is a truth. And it does not vary. Now, when you go to DE, and I mean this, when you go to DE, something happens to you. You realize that you're a part of something, and it's a part of you. And it may take you a while to feel like you fit in. It may take you a while to realize why you're there. And it may take you a while to let your guard down and just let things happen as they're supposed to. When I go to DE and you go to DE, we realize there is a purpose and there is a lasting purpose in this profession, in chiropractic. As long as your life lasts, this mission, this purpose, this chiropractic will be there. It'll be inside of you. And it is the lasting purpose. DE brings that out. Of all the places I've been, and you know I've been everywhere, DE's the only one that hits a nail on the head. DE is the place that lets things unfold inside you. Now, I think DE reminds us of something. It reminds us of what BJ said when he said, I give you this sacred trust. Guard it well. You know, you've heard those words a lot. This sacred trust. Guard it well. Where do things of value belong? Where do you think they belong? They belong in your heart. They belong in your core. They belong in your chest. And why is that? Because that's where precious things go. That's where innate wants precious things. Precious things like your friends, your family, your spouse, your kids, your dreams, your ambition, maybe even your family pet. Anything valuable goes in that spot. And that's what BJ meant when he said sacred trust, in the sacred place, your heart. And why is that way? Do you know why it's that way? Because that's the only place you can do something about it. And we know that. Look at the men and women that did something about chiropractic. Do you think that was mental? Not even close. That's passion. That's emotion. And that's what DE brings right up to the front pew with you and me and chiropractic. All valued things belong there. You know, emotion makes things happen. Passion makes things happen. It's the driving force. It puts energy into dreams. That's why it's in your heart. Chiropractic requires a lot from you, only because it's going to return you more, unbelievably more. I want everybody on this call and everybody you know that likes to go to DE to do this. I want you to become monthly members and sign up. I did that a while back. It's the very best. And during the time when you need to listen to it, you can get on your phone and you can listen to DE speakers. Again, the very best. You have no idea how many times you need to be quiet, you need to be alone, you need to be with yourself, and you just need to hear another speaker talk about chiropractic. Chiropractic has a compensation plan all its own. You know it and I know it, because it's like nothing else, and nothing else can complement your life like being a chiropractor. You need to respect that. And you need to take a little pride in that. I'm serious. Be proud of yourself for knowing chiropractic and sticking with it. Now, I'm just about done. I got a couple more words I want to say that I think are very important. One word, adjust. One word, adjust, adjustment. What is that? That's us. That's us from day one. What else is it? It's proof. From day one, it's proof. Proof of what? Proof of the question that's always been there. Proof of the answer that's always been there too. One word, adjustment. I remember hanging out with Clarence Gonstead. I think I was up there about 27 times. And he would say things like this: take all the time necessary to find the vertebral subluxation. Use all your tools in your bag. Find the vertebral subluxation and adjust it. You know, Gonstead spoke at DE. Of course he did. All the varsity players were there. Another thing I like Gonstead said, there's too many chiropractors, not enough chiropractors. DE is where the chiropractors are. You know it and I know it. So if you want to be a chiropractor, and you really do, you better come to DE. So that word again, adjustment, it's an action word. In fact, it's an action. Without the action, there is zero, and backwards mankind goes. With the action, there is self-healing, self-regulating, self-contained, shows up. Life is confirmed and conformed to with one word, the adjustment. The power of the universe is invoked. Power beyond measure. Fiction is removed with one word, the adjustment. And whose word is that? It's ours. It's chiropractic. So I want you to remember this. When you're thinking about chiropractic and your mind is wandering and you want to bring it home and keep it safe, just remember this. Our toaster toasts, and nobody else toasts like we toast. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Well, Dr. Joe, that was awesome. We ain't no white bread that haven't been toasted yet. I like it. You know, when I first opened my office, I put in the front desk, success consists in the climb, because everybody's goals sometimes, and when they reach their goals, they don't realize that they're still climbing. So I always kept that up there, and it's still there to this day to remind me that there's work to do.
Yep.
But keeping that passion alive, you definitely brought it tonight for sure. I liked, what did you say? Too many chiropractors, not enough chiropractors. That's awesome.
Isn't that a classic?
That is really, I bet you have a ton of those. And the next time I'm at DE, I'm going to sit down with you to hear some more of those, because I'm missing something not talking to you at DE.
Okay.
We love you and appreciate you. And this call is going to be listened to over and over again, because you really put it to us to do what we were put on this earth to do, be chiropractors.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Much appreciate you. Have an awesome rest of your week. Bye, everybody.